My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
Catching up with Steve Johnson, the Driver Standards Advisor here for Porsche and Porsche Carrera Cup and the GT3 Cup Challenge. What's the difference between a DSA and a DSO, Steve?
Well, I don't like being an officer, so I like being an advisor to what's happening on track. So yeah, it's a really good role and I'm really enjoying it.
Your role encompasses more than that, though. You're more of a mentor for some of the young kids as well.
Yeah, 100%. And even the guys here, which I guess you call them the gentleman racer, the guys that really make up this category. They love their motorsport. They're successful businessmen, but they love coming away and running 6 rounds of the year in their Carrera Cup cars. So or they're older 997s, way it might be, and to just even if they're involved in an incident, even to just explain to them how they could have avoided it, what they need to do and look for on the first laps of each race, how to, I guess I want to see hard and fair. I love a bit of rubbing and bumping. Like that's racing to me. I don't want to stop the racing element. Yeah. I just want to stop the, I guess the silliness element of when someone does a very silly mistake.
I've got Richard Craill, who is a lucky man this weekend. Not only does he continue to travel with Porsche and is sporting a lovely Porsche-inspired Tag Heuer watch, he's also experiencing his 100th round of the Shannons Nationals. Welcome, Richard.
Good morning, Daz. Good morning, everyone. Nice to be with you. A beautiful sunny day here at Winton Motor Raceway, but we can tell you currently 3.4 degrees in local conditions. It is really, really cool outside. The sun is blazing down and the track temperature will come up as the day goes on, obviously, but right now, these will be very, very difficult conditions. That's Brett Bolton, who's been in really good form so far in the number 84 Bold car, run by McElrea Racing. And that's got some serious dramas in the left rear corner. Now, there's no obvious panel damage there, so it almost looks like there's been a rear upright drama in that car because it's got the wheel tucked up under the guard, sitting down on the rear corner. That's a serious problem. Jordan Love starts from pole by virtue of winning the 35 lapper yesterday afternoon. Alongside him is Pete Major. Great story about those two. Pete's Jordan's boss. The second row of the grid is Brenton Grove. He starts alongside Anthony Gilbertson. Behind them, John Karatinos and the birthday boy. A very happy birthday to Dr. Sam Shahin. He will start from the third row of the grid. Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge on a beautiful, if crisp morning at Winton Motor Raceway. 11 laps will be the distance. And the run into turn 1 and turn 2 critical, getting through them even more so. Wheel spin for Major. His start wasn't bad, but Love's was better. And Gilbertson trying to go around the outside, couldn't get it done. And he has Grove going down the inside. There's wheel-to-wheel contact between the two of them. But it'll be Love who leads them through that all-critical first chicane. Grove in third place, Gilbertson next, trying to apply the pressure. Solid start, John Karatinos. He leads Sam Shahin, with John Morris just in behind. Everyone through clean, and we're off and racing the 101st round of the Shannons Nationals.
A little bit of rub there with Grove and Gilbertson into one, but we see Karatinos getting that good start again in the number 16, and he's just got through on the birthday boy Sam Shahin in the HTFU car as they get right up into the cleavage, the complex at the top end of Winton now.
Stephenson up the inside, big move on the 17 car and turns him round. So there was contact, it's dislodged the rear bar on Zalua's car. The Gravity Porsche's pointing in the wrong direction at an action point on the racetrack. We see it so often up there. You take the big dive bomb up the inside, and if the door gets shut, you're going to be pointing in the wrong direction. And that was the Zagami Autosport car of John Stephenson, who was trying to dive up the inside. Unfortunately, didn't get it done.
Race leader Jordan Love now coming around the top end of the course, turns 11 and 12 for the first time today. Good run yesterday with the Jim Richards endurance race, coming home first and establishing himself quite a healthy lead over his 9 to 5 working week boss. Difficult position to be in, isn't it? Sitting on the front row of the grid and got through turn 1 and 2.
Here's a look. So Stephenson up the inside, almost B-pillar you'd think. So just not given any room up there, but it was probably a reasonably ambitious move, and Race Control will have a look at that. Stephen Johnson is the Porsche Cars Australia Driver Standards Advisor. He'll be up there in Race Control assessing his thoughts on that and offering feedback to the race director and the stewards of the meeting on whether a penalty is needed there, and we'll follow that for you. It's been a great start for Pete Major. He's going with his teammate here, and one of the hallmarks of Jordan Love's season so far has been really good cold tyre pace. His opening couple of laps have been great. Phillip Island, remember, in really difficult, dicey, wet, dry conditions, he was electrifying in a wheel-to-wheel battle with Grove, but then dropped it at Siberia and ended up 15th. He carved his way back through to 3rd, but Pete Major's gone with him here, and Grove isn't too far behind either, and Anthony Gilbertson is going with Brenton Grove. So there's a couple of little battle packs developing already in this race that'll continue to tee off as the day goes on. So 2 laps complete. Jordan Love is the leader. Pete Major is second. Brenton Grove is third in the Grove hire car. Anthony Gilbertson, the Hallmark Homes Porsche, is fourth. Behind them is John Karatinos as the freight train goes through turn 3. Then it's Sam Shahin. Then it's the hometown hero in Johnny Morris, the Motorsport leasing car.
Phil Morris has made 2 spots up off the start. Started out at 10th. He's made his way into 8th place in the Motec car. So watching our leader putting the left-hand rear wheel up on the ripple strip around the sweeper. Jordan Love, brave move that early on in the race like this. He's not getting away from the field though.
Stephenson's pitted. I wonder if for a drive-through or whether assessing some steering damage possibly on the left front corner of that car.
Certainly the damage is evident off the back of Zazula's car. That the guard is flapping around there. Under brakes now with Jordan Love down into turn 10. Shannon's Nationals corner.
So he stopped down at Tagami Autosport, Jordan Love, so there's clearly some work going on there, and I wonder if that contact, because they've got a bit of steering lock in as they bounce over the curb at turn 6 and turn into 7, might have bent the steering in the front corner of that car. When it made contact with Zalua's number 17 car, I think it might have made some bent the steering possibly on Johnny Stephenson's car. He's a bit down on himself yesterday, Johnny. Wasn't, not down, that's not fair. He was... he's a very competitive individual, is John, being a Commonwealth gold-winning athlete in the highest echelons of athletics, global sport. He doesn't like running around in 7th place. So
big lock up on the rears there, Richard, for Peter Major into turn 3 that time. So he's pushing hard. Brenton Grove's now starting to apply the pressure.
So to my point on Stephenson, he's such a competitive athlete. He wants to be further up the order. He'll get there though, and I think that John Stephenson we see at the end of this year will be a vastly different racing car driver to the one we've got now. Gilbertson, meanwhile, applying the pressure to Brenton Grove. Speaking of experience, these 2 drivers have built an enormous wealth of experience in the last 12 months. Gilbertson running in GT3 Cup last year, Brenton Grove running open wheelers in Cam's Jayco Formula 4. But not his first party in a Porsche either. Had some time behind the wheel of these cars. Of course, his father, Stephen, has been racing overseas quite a lot this year. Raced at Spa-Francorchamps in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany and Benelux over there, and then went up to Fuji and was racing with Carrera Cup Japan and Asia in a massive event just a week ago. So, second generation Grove racing car driver doing a very nice job applying the pressure as the crews watch on from pit wall, rugged up this morning.
Still cool here trackside. If you're watching the live streaming and you're in the local area, there's still nothing quite like getting live up close and live in 3D with circuit racing, but we hope you're enjoying the streaming via the nationals.com.au.
This is a great battle. So this is all bottled up now behind Pete Major. He's got 3 cars tucked up under his rear wing. Brenton Grove is the first car behind him. Then it's Anthony Gilbertson, and John Karatinos is in this as well. And Sam Shahin will be next. And Grove looking racy.
These are the movers and shakers in
Whoa,
GT3.
contact. He gets into the back of Brenton Grove, Anthony Gilbertson. There was a big rub there, and Brenton did a very nice job to hold on to it.
Tricky part of the track to be getting served up like that, that's for sure. But these are the movers and shakers in the 2017 Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge. We're watching them now. Jordan Love's gone away, and in fact he's gone through on John Stephenson.
Check this out. So Gilbertson had a look at the last minute as Grove turned in. So front bumper bar to rear bumper bar, blue v red, and Brenton with a really good save. Just held on to the Grove Hire Porsche and that's given Pete Major just a bit of breathing room.
I guess that's the difference between 5-lap warmer tyres and what was happening in the initial opening bit with Stephenson and Zalula. Colder tyres, the car skated around in front of him. Grove managed to hang on to that, the steering tyres staying in touch with the ground and driving out of it. We'll be back after this quick break here at the Shannon's Nationals. Welcome back trackside here at Winton Motor Raceway for round 3 from the 2017 Shannon's Nationals.
So Grove dropping back into the clutches of Gilbertson, and the more he offers that wide line into turn 7, the right-hander before the gum tree, the more Gilbertson's going to think about having a crack up the inside.
Yeah, you invite the sucker punch and inevitably it comes through, doesn't it? It's opening it up, and particularly with a race only of 11 laps, it's every opportunity that's offered. Really have to take it. It's not like we're sitting back and watching an endurance race where you can say, oh, right, I see that mistake, I'll log that one and we'll have a look at it next lap and size it up. In this particular race, you're going to have to take the opportunity as it appears. And it starts to range up onto the back of Grove now.
It's a sign of how these tyres come on late in a race. At the end of lap 7, Jordan Love's just done the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 22.5. It's within 6/10 of the lap record. So clear racetrack, tyres now up to temperature, ambient temperature and track temp coming up on a crisp morning in northern Victoria. And Jordan Love's got a well set up race car, he's driving well. They were really pleased after the Jim Richards endurance race yesterday with the way he controlled the race. He built the margin and then just conserved and controlled it for the remainder of that race. They were really pleased with that, because they were very happy. I spoke to Mike Henry, the engineer, and Mick Ritter, the team boss at Sonic. They were off for a round of golf. They didn't have too much to do on the car, so nice relaxed afternoon with a solid result, a 1-2 finish, and a very, very happy team. Of course, they know the job's not done. It's only round 3 of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge. And as we saw 12 months ago in that pulsating battle between Hamish Hardiman, who went on to win the championship eventually, and Jackson Evans, who won the Jim Richards Endurance Trophy, one race can change this series. We saw that with Jackson last year in this particular race 12 months ago, caught up in dramas at turn 2, not of his own making, and that DNF was the difference in him being an outright championship contender and not, because from there Hardiman just needed to be consistent and finish every race.
Yeah, it was a matter of 44 points between them at the end of that weekend, and really did finish him off as far as that was concerned at the end of that weekend. So Hamish Hardiman charged well at this round last year, and you'd expect to, at this form, that Jordan Love is heading that direction as well.
These Pirelli tyres are extraordinary, because every single driver in the field has done their fastest lap of the race on either lap 8 or 9. So everyone doing PBs deep into this race, which is indicative of how the track's improving, but how good this very, very durable Pirelli P0 control tyre we use in GT3 Cup Challenge. It's the same tyre they use in GT Trophy, which features as part of the Shannon's Nationals as well. And this is a great battle. Gilbertson looking close. You feel like he's about to make a move here. The other thing that Anthony has to worry about is that he's fighting for the elite class championship for the semi-pro drivers, and his closest rival is the car right behind him. That's John Karatinos, the Olympic Steel Industries entry, very fast South Australian, who was over the moon yesterday because his opening races of every round so far this year have been shockers. Had massive dramas at Sandown, was caught up in that crash, caught up in dramas at Phillip Island. He got to the end of yesterday's race and was just relieved to get to the finish. He was over the moon. He said, right, I can actually do something from here. I can build.
He certainly is a guy that seems to be motivated by starting further down or being pinned back down through the field and then driving through the field. Here we go now. That's Karatinos bobbling out behind there as well. He wants that spot that Gilbertson's got, because Gilbertson's only got eyes for Grove at the moment. He'll be well aware that the number 16's there, but he certainly won't be concentrating too much on that.
And you can see Gilbertson's been dropped by Grove now because he's had to go defensive, had to cover his line into turn 3. Karatinos made a couple of really good moves down there in the race yesterday. He was wide into 7, and it's opened him up to attack from his fellow Adelaidean in Sam Shahin, who just communicates via Morse code on the rear bumper bar of the number 16 car that he's right behind, and that might be the breathing room that Gilbertson needs.
Some would say Craig Lowndes inspired communication.
Final lap of the race, Jordan Love out in front and cruising away. He won twice in the opening round at Sandown. He won twice at Phillip Island, and this will be his second race win here at Winton Motor Raceway. The championship leader continues on his merry way. Jordan Love wins race 2, the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge presented by Pirelli. Pete Major home in second. Battle of the race was for 3rd through 6th, and that's just won by Brenton Grove. Gilbertson next, Caratinos, and the birthday boy Shahin across the line. John Morris was 7th, Phil Morris 8th. Rob Woods inside the top 10. Nice drive for the Garth Walden Racing number 29 driver, and David Gregg inside the top 10 as well.
Yeah, no, it was good. You know, one of the main focuses today was the start after a pretty poor one yesterday, and we managed to get a ripper and lead the field into turn 1. And, you know, after that, it was just a focus of putting the head down, move forward, and hopefully open up a gap, which we managed to do. And, yeah, no, it was a nice, good race.
So to confirm the grid for you in the 12-lap finale for round 3 of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge, it's Love and Major on the front row, then Grove and Gilbertson on row 2. Watch for Gilbertson to make a fast start. John Caratinos and Sam Shahin will be next, with John Morris and brother Phil alongside him 7th and 8th, with Woods and Greg rounding out the top 10. So the third and final race of the weekend has Love and Major on the front row, Grove and Gilbertson behind. 12 laps the distance. In beautiful conditions, we're away for race 3 at the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge presented by Pirelli. Good start, teammates, into turn 1. Love has to use a bit of curb, and that'll slow his exit there, and Pete Major's up the inside, and the field stacks up behind him. Good start, Brenton Grove. He's trying to go the long way around the outside. Caratinos diving down the inside. They were almost 3 wide. Everyone takes a deep breath and manages to squeeze through turn 3 and into turn 4, but that was pretty hairy for a moment there, Darren.
Good to see everyone that sorted themselves out. There was no contact into the 1-2 complex, but we've settled the field pretty quickly as they get around through the sweep. But Jordan Love away from Major, then it's Grove, Gilbertson, Caratinos and Shahin that are like in a waiting pattern in this title this year, just to get up onto that podium with the front contenders. They're sitting there just outside the 4 and wanting to go on with it. There's John Morris on the back of Shahin there as well. So he wants to weigh in, and then the Motorsport leasing car over the bumps down to the turn 10 for the first time.
I reckon Pete Major got a really good start and almost thought about going with his teammate through turn 2, but either didn't get quite a good run out of turn 1 and into the right-hander and just sort of backed out of it. Everyone bobbled up behind him, and it made it pretty interesting down into 3. Gilbertson's under pressure from Caratinos. He's got Shahin just behind him, and the 3 leaders have been able to pull away quite comfortably from these 3 on the opening lap of the race. So Jordan Love, Major and Grove, the top 3, and quite a big gap back to a big scrap for the elite class honours with Gilbertson, Caratinos, Shahin, Morris and Morris.
Yeah, they're all bottling up now behind Gilbertson, aren't they? You get the feeling, and I've had the feeling that Caratinos has got a fast car under himself all weekend. Just hasn't been able to clear himself of this battle pack that keeps forming on lap 1. But Gilbertson certainly been rapid this weekend as well. So it's really tough when everyone around you is having a good weekend and you're having a good weekend. Everyone goes with each other. The lap times have been pretty good too right throughout this weekend. There's Sam Shahin. We're going to hear a lot more about him in the next 12 months in Australian motorsport. The racetrack over at Tailem Bend opening.
Made his Porsche Carrera Cup Australia debut at Phillip Island, and should do some more rounds of that series as the year goes on as well, with the world's most brightly liveried cup car. Bright red and yellow HTFU sponsorship on that car, as distinct from the black and orange on the number 13 car that runs here in Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge. And unfortunately, a really tough day for John Stephenson continues, with the Zagami Autosport car going to work on the number 78. It's in pit lane. It's all part of the learning process, the ups and downs of a rookie racing car driver.
Not every weekend comes up roses, that's for sure. You've got to have these weekends. If you don't have weekends like this, you don't appreciate the good ones quite so much.
Absolutely,
that's for sure.
right. They'll come, there's no doubt. The guy's got so much speed. He's really fast. And that's always so important, because you can tame the fast stuff. It's hard to make a slower driver faster, they always say. It's easy to just rein in a really fast one. But he's got some natural ability, and he will go a long way, I'm sure. as Anthony Gilbertson heads into turn 5. He's under pressure from John Karatinos. It's the battle for 4th and 5th, and with Sam Shahin behind 6th place as well. And it's also the battle for the elite division in Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge. You should mention that there's different classes in Porsche Carrera Cup as well. There's the Pro class, and then there's the TAG Heuer Carrera Challenge as well for the semi-pro drivers, currently being led by Stephen Grove.
Be a nice award for that one, I would suggest.
I've seen the timepiece as they win at the end of the year in Porsche Carrera Cup. We've seen so many drivers, young and not quite so young, as Karatinos just has a moment coming out of 10, jump up from GT3 Cup Challenge into the Carrera Cup. As Sam Shahin has a look down the inside at 11, couldn't quite get down there. Was trying to take advantage of Karatinos dropping right side Pirellis off the road over that exit curve. As Mike Henry and the back of Jaden, I think they're down at Sonic Motor Racing watching on, as their boys are 1 and 2 at the moment, pulling away from the field. Pete Major last time round, 22.5, fastest man on the racetrack. So he's got good pace, lap records of 21.8. We saw how good these tyres were, the Pirelli P0 late in the race, so only 7/10 off the lap record. I wonder if they can give that a shove towards the end of this race.
Here's the annoyance of the competitors behind both Love and Major at the moment. Cold tyre pace, then once they're up to pressure, they've got hot tyre pace as well. Generally, you like to see them fall off a cliff.
Back to pit lane, here's more from Shebex.
Thanks very much, Richard. We've got Mike Henry, golf extraordinaire, here, and also great engineer as well, mate. Jordan Love's engineer. He's going well, isn't he?
He's going fantastic. He's a young kid, but he's got all the right bits and pieces. He's got a great character, great demeanour, works really hard. So, yeah, we couldn't be happier with him.
Mate, you're loving life at Sonic, aren't you? You get to work with these young kids who are just showing so much promise in the last few years.
Oh, absolutely. It's been one of those things where Porsche at Sonic has been successful for a couple of years for us, and we really enjoy it. Great team, great guys, and the drivers we've had through the last couple of years have been fantastic. So that sort of explains to the other guys where they can go, and yeah, as I say, great team. Have to put up with Ritter, but and the boys would be up me if I didn't say that. But, you know, it's a great place.
Tell you what, if Mike Henry's talking you up, you're in the ballpark, aren't you?
This is why we were down in pit lane. Bolton up the inside, so he's on the comeback trail, having started this one from the back of the field. He's now inside the top 10. Nice textbook move. One of the successful moves we've seen up there at turn 7 today. A few of those have resulted in contact. And the quip at the start about being a golf extraordinaire, the early finish on Saturday meant that Sonic boys could go and play the front 9 at the Benalla Auto Club golf course down in Benalla Town, and apparently went all right. Lost some bits and pieces later in the day when it got a bit dark, but otherwise not too bad, apparently, not too shabby.
It's good to get away from the track and have a bit of a relax, clear your mind, and then get back on with the event today, because yesterday was a tough run. It was the first of the races in the Jim Richards Endurance Trophy as well, a very coveted award that we've seen some names really go on with that have won that award, and we're completing lap 8 now in this 12-lap journey. Here's Brenton Grove, who's come out of some pressure again late in this race from Gilbertson. Sam Shahin and John Karatinos there as well. They've swapped spots in the last couple of laps between those two guys, and that's been a weekend-long battle between them. At the moment, Karatinos, who I got to say, Richard, very impressed with the driver of car number 16, really putting his head down, like what Mikey Arman did a few years ago. You could see this almost change. They'd gone, right, this is what I've got to do. Now I know what being a racing car driver is all about. It's not up on the wheel and ragging the car at every corner. It's stroking it along, getting it there, trying to be aggressive when you need to, but smooth things out, let the corner come to you, not hurry everything.
John's the perfect example of why this series in particular is great, because he started out as a Porsche enthusiast, had a 911 road car, hadn't done any motor racing, went out and did a couple of track days, became friendly with Ross and Michael Armand, and they ultimately convinced him to get behind the wheel of a race car, and he quite literally lived the dream by ultimately going Porsche racing. And he's only been racing for 5 or 6 years. He had last year off, focus on business back in Adelaide, but you know, he didn't come from any previous junior background or anything like that, just decided that he'd like to go racing, and with the Porsche network around, was able to get the right contacts and hooked up with Buick Motorworks, who prepared the car, and bought a cup car, went racing. Turns out he's really fast, and he's a quick driver, and he's had some great results as well. He's had some podium finishes in the GT3 Cup Challenge, and continues to attack Sam Shahin as they go past the gum tree. We're watching the fight for 3rd and 4th, Grove and Gilbertson. These are the two boys from Adelaide going at it. So final corner for Jordan Love. What a performance this weekend. The first clean sweep of the 2017 Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge presented by Pirelli. There's a whole lot of love for Jordan at Winton. Great weekend in complete control from the very first lap. Just missed out on pole to Anthony Gilbertson. But as far as racing goes, he's got the results. And there's Brenton Grove. Edges out Gilbertson, Sheehan and Karatinos. And there'll be a little tick in the box there for Sam Sheehan, edging out Johnny Kay right at the very end of the race there. Slipped past him midway through and held him out. So the birthday boy got P5. Happy birthday to Sam.
Jordan Love takes the win over Peter Major in the number 14. Brenton Grove, Anthony Gilbertson some 13 seconds back. The battle between Sam Sheehan and John Karatinos, I get the feeling, will go on right throughout this season. John Morris into 7, Brett Bolton 8, Marcel Zazula into 9, and Phil Morris in the Motec car into 10.
Yeah, no, it's been a great weekend. Win 3 from 3. It's been pretty good. You know, the first 2 rounds we made a few silly mistakes, which really cost us. You know, that was one of the main focuses going into this weekend, was not make any mistakes, which we managed to do, and it paid off, winning 3 from 3. So it's been good. From where we're at now, halfway through the championship, you know, we think, you know, maybe it is possible, and you know, we'll keep working on that, and you know, hopefully that's something we can grab at the end of the year.
Well, that brings our coverage from round 3 of the Shannons Nationals here at Winton to a close. Hope you've enjoyed the show. On behalf of our entire team, thanks for watching. Don't forget to head to thenationals.com.au for more information about the Shannons Australian Motor Racing Nationals.